Welcome to the PGL. I'm Ginny, joined with Broxah, but we have two special guests, Yikes and Dylan. Congratulations on your first win here in playoffs. How are you feeling, Yike?
I'm feeling good. It was very stressful last game we just played, but I'm very happy that we won it. I think BB and Caps played very well. They were very creative and made us win the game.
Did you enjoy playing Ivern?
The Volibear?
Ivern?
No, I didn't play Ivern.
Did you enjoy playing against it?
Sorry, no, I never enjoyed playing against Ivern because that champ he doesn't really interact with you. He just farms his camps and then he just puts out Daisy, and Daisy is annoying. It's hard to play, but we managed to win.
What do you think wins when you won? Volibear, Daisy?
I think it's hard.
I think Daisy might have a chance, actually.
Daisy, but yeah.
Alright, let's break this down in terms of G2 and how the performance has been throughout regular split, and then we're coming here into playoffs. I think time and time again here, Dylan, every time we're hitting on the fact that early game for G2s might not necessarily be the best performances we've seen, but there's always a way where the team finds something mid-game that they're then able to translate and scale into the late game. From a coach's perspective, how do you ensure that that keeps happening? Because it feels like if that mid-game pick doesn't necessarily translate, then potentially it could be a game.
Yeah, I think it's just important that we have the ability to make plays with our comp, and we actually have tools and like kill patterns and play patterns that actually will work, and that will give us the opportunities to make these sort of plays. Like for example, this game, I think they had a very good comp group of like Ivern and Azir, but we are running a comp with TF Talia. So even if the game is a bit weird, or even if the game is we are a bit behind, there's always the opportunity for our players who are very creative to find things on the map.
Do you think it's a reliable strategy? Because something we talked about earlier today is that, you know, when we were on Fnatic together, when we really needed to win, we would just lock in Braum and On, and we would just team fight in front to back. But nowadays, I mean, you just mentioned that that's kind of what they did. Do you think it's more reliable now than it used to be, like kind of finding these creative openings and playing these hard to execute kind of comps?
I just want to have good drafts, actually. That's how I think about it. Like, for example, in the first game, they were playing the other side of this. They had Rengar into a comp that just wanted to group up and team fight. And once we got to that point, it was a bit unplayable, right? At the Dragon fight, we were fighting a Rengar that was showing on the map, an Ahri that was on a ward. They can't flank us, and they just get aced into Baron. Whereas the second game, we're playing the other. But I think, for example, they show Azir, Ivern in the draft. I think if we were to match this Volibear-Ivern matchup with more team fighting, slow champions, I think we would just be playing a slow versus slow game and just lose at some point. So I try and treat it more as a strategical drafting thing than just what we want to play.
So always being able to play your way and force them to respond to you kind of thing?
Yeah, just being reactive in the draft, knowing what champions are good against what champions, and having a strategy that works together.
I want to pick up on the Rengar point particularly and give this one to you, Yike, because I don't think anyone really expected to be seeing a Rengar in pro play today, particularly from your perspective as a jungler. When would that be a champ that you want to actually pick?
Yeah, I think it's for sure hard this game because they know that we kind of want to group a lot, and Rengar kind of wants to pick people off, like he wants to go alone, catch someone on side, something like that. But I think we were pretty safe with that, and I think we just made sure that Rengar can't really do it. But yeah, I think this is probably a hard Rengar game they had, but they still picked it on 4, so I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's like they could do it. Maybe it's doable for them to play the Rengar, but I think it's just hard this game, yeah.
I think they were just he was just trying to kill my bot lane.
Maybe
I think that was the goal.
He did succeed a few times.
Yeah,
it worked to an extent, yeah, for sure.
So looking at your players particularly, if you had to nominate or choose anyone who would get the Kia player of the game, Dylan, who would you give it to? You're the coach, so like you're going to have to pick a favorite. I
think for this one it's Caps. I think both his games are really good, and like we can hear their communication backstage, and so many of the picks and plays in the second game. Actually, it was Caps and BB for the second game for sure, but I think he had 2 great games, so I would give it to Caps.
All right. Well, you're actually right. Caps did get Kia player of the game, so congratulations.
Yeah. It usually is Caps in our games recently, so.
I want to touch upon that communication point because Caps, as well as BB mentioned it as well in the interview, saying that that's the whole sole point of allow them to succeed with the TF and the Talia composition. So as a team, how do you build that communication between players?
Yeah, well, part of it is just experience. We've been playing together this is our second year as a roster. BB and Caps have been playing together for, this is the 3rd year, I believe. Every time we have a game and we review it, we talk about what we should be doing, what we should be communicating. I think, for example, this year, we're talking a lot more about side waves and macro, and all of that's because of Duffman's addition to the team as well. So I think it's just something that's built over time. And Caps, he's always been someone that talks a lot and wants to take over the game.
I know some teams have like different communication patterns. Like in G2, is it the kind where you have like very assigned shot calling responsibilities, or is it a little bit shared depending on who's strong in the game?
It's not really a sign, no. I think it's just whoever has the agency needs to be able to speak.
Yeah, I agree. So you usually like whoever is like the, we call it like the president of the team.
Yeah.
Usually shot calls the most.
So from you, from a jungler perspective, in what position then does that put you? So if you're looking to play around an objective or you're looking to set up a gank, whether that's bot or top or mid, how do you approach that?
I think for me it's just mostly communicating about like the early game, especially if we play champs like Rel and Volleyball I played today. I think I just talk about the early game, like level 3, 4, 5, like what I can do to provide as much support to the like carries as possible. And then for Dragons, it's mostly like I'm like more of a supportive like tank for the team, and like I let them do the job.
It's kind of interesting how the jungle role changes in competitive, because in solo queue you're often like really strong throughout the entire game and you can always carry. But in competitive, we're like carries in the first 10-15 minutes, but then eventually, like Yike said, our role shifts from being a carry to literally just another support.
How do you deal with that as a player though? Because oftentimes you have players who are in set roles, like for AD carry, like your job is to scale and carry most of your games. But then as a jungler, it feels like it keeps shifting, not just on the game itself, but also depending on the meta. So that adaptability as a player, where do you get that from and how do you work on it?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of started off as like the carry younger. I was always playing that like back in like the last years, and then getting into G2, like in the like when we play like the biggest game, like the most important games, it's obviously stronger to play like more facilitators, more tanks, and that's why I kind of adapted last year and now this year as well. So I really focus a lot on that. I think I'm very good at carries too, because yeah, I'm very like confident when I get champs like Lilia, for example. I'm very confident I can take over the game. But now with the tanks as well, I feel very confident as well that I can do a lot for my team.
Dylan, are we going to see him on more carries? Would you allow it?
I think there's always opportunity if the draft suits it. If it keeps being Jinx and Talia and Orianna and Zeri every game, maybe the chances are a bit lower.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, in terms of as well the team in general, obviously we're talking about adaptability from your perspective, but G2, you guys have also qualified for MSI, so there is that international stage to be looking forward to. What would that look like in terms of adapting to that international stage coming into MSI?
Honestly, we're not speaking too much about MSI right now because we're in the middle of playoffs, and I think we have some wounds still from last year where we won Winter Split pretty convincingly, and we had a very early exit from, I believe, the Spring Split earlier than we would like. So we're, unfortunately, right now, as much as we'd love to dream about our MSI performance and planning, we're more focused on this split.
That's absolutely fair enough, but you guys won today, so that puts you further into the bracket. So let's have a look at the bracket particular to see where today's wins are going to place us. You guys are going to be going up against Fnatic. I'm not sure how you feel about that. I would love to dissect that. We also have Vitality against BDS. Last time you guys went up against Fnatic in the regular split, it didn't necessarily go in your favor. I'm assuming you learned a lot from that as well, because Yike, what are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I don't really remember what I played against Fnatic again. You remember? Anyone remembers?
And I remember feeling that the draft was... Oh, that was the Lee Sin versus Poppy Talia game.
I played Lee Sin. Oh, yeah. I played Lee Sin versus Poppy Talia. Very unplayable game for me. Yeah, I got punished for picking Lee Sin. That is my bad. And yeah, I think we're going to make sure to not make this kind of mistakes again, because I think, yeah, the draft was hard for us. And now I think we're playing much better, and I think I can play champs like I showed today, like the Rel and Volibear, and I don't think they can really punish that as much as the Lee Sin.
You also have a bit of time to convince Dylan to just ban Poppy so you can play Lee, you know?
True, I could try to ban the Poppy, maybe Talia as well. Then I can probably...
Spoken like a truly Sin player, Broxah.
The jungler bias, right? Looking at it. But the games that we have coming up, is there any game particularly that you are really focusing on, Dylan, in terms of how important that is for maybe not just G2, but in general, the whole league and how it's been set up?
I just feel like our match is actually pretty important, pretty challenging. I think Fnatic has actually been pretty strong this year. I feel like they've improved a lot. They started to play a lot more aggressively this year, which I think is very good. And I look forward to the match tomorrow.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It felt like in the Winter Split, it was kind of Razork just trying to make solo plays all on his own.
Of course, you go for the jungler, yeah.
The mid-jungle synergy is starting to come together. It feels like everybody has kind of found their style, their identity. And I think early game is one thing, but the setup around objectives in the later stages, I think it's going to be really interesting because it's this kind of matchup where no matter who gets the slight advantage early, everything can always happen when, you know, it's time for dragon fights.
And everything can always happen in that lower bracket. That is definitely something to keep our eyes on. And our Mega Week will conclude on Tuesday, where we will be looking at the games in the lower bracket. We have GX that are going to be going up against MDK, and SK are going to be heading up against Heretics. MDK, I want to say they're no strangers to this. Last time around, they were in that lower bracket. Yike, they made that lower bracket run. They faced you guys off in the finals. After playing up against them today, how do you perceive them? Because it feels like spring for them has not necessarily been as successful.
Yeah, I don't think they've had the best spring split. They kind of started off like very badly, like almost like becoming like going top 9, top 10, and I think they did better later on. And I think we were very ready for today's match because I think they're still very strong. They improved a lot now, like throughout the whole split, and they're playing very well now. So yeah, I mean they're playing better for sure.
I think it's an interesting team because they're so strong in the early game, but there's just always things going wrong, you know, in the mid game. You could argue that in that second game, if it wasn't a G2 on the other side, maybe the enemy team wouldn't have found the openings to actually come back. But I really want them to just work on their mid game and clean it up, because if they can do that and snowball properly, they can be a really good team.
All right, thank you guys so much for your insight and for joining us through the PGL. I do appreciate it. And that's it for us here today on the LEC. Now, did you catch how many times the KitKat Poro actually appeared on the broadcast? Did you count this time? Or maybe this time? What about this one? Either way, you can head over to KitKat Gaming's post on X, like, retweet, and reply with the correct number of appearances to have a chance to earn some sweet, sweet treats, not cash. Up next on the LCS, there's Spring Split Finals, where we have Team Liquid that Broxah is obviously going to be supporting up against FLICKR. So good luck with that. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Good night. Take care.
At mid lane, FLICKR.
We're rolling into LCS Finals. See you there.
Labrov, bold recall, that is not where you want to be. My man caught shopping.
Look at Jax, come look at Jax. Yeah. Jax, do this. Guys, 3 people are charged. Look. Okay, careful. Go. Look here.
Alista. Go. Keep going. It's hard for me to join here. Only you guys. Keep going.
I have much go and press us.
Nothing Team Heretics do matter in the face of BDS. Again, their patience, the execution, just better in this game. FLICKR's in trouble. We've seen this one before. Is he FLICKing? Is he stick safe? This time he has the exhaust. It might be enough. Adam in trouble. First blood. Gets the 1-for-1 though. Cut it to FLICKing.
No flash. I'm tipping. Let's fight. Let's go. Go for it. Insane.
Nice. Go mid.
It's all you guys. Kalista flash, yeah. Volibear no flash.
We win.
Oh, Penta. Actually, I can get Penta.
Let's kill him.
Focus.
We win. Nice.
DK, Frescowi now on the chase. This is going to be big for the Ahri. Instantly over the wall. Now chasing down Yike. Will get the reset on the Mickey X. The charm connecting as well. Frescowi.
Look at Rengar. Rengar can't jump, okay, by the way. Kill Rengar. Kick. I can go. Be ready for the raw match. Nice.
He is now on the bottom side. Hansama, nice flash backwards, trying to get the reset on the Alvaro. That's big. Hansama can now try to run to safety. MDK fumbling the dive. Fender's going to fly. Hansama tries to back to me. Just doesn't have enough health, enough time.
I goes.
Yeah.
I ult on him. He can't take it.
Okay, can't take it.
He still can't take it. Nice. Care Saya. Look, guys, look. We need up. Yeah. Nice, we reset.
I have no flash.
We win this.
Nice.
Oh my god! Oh my god, what a sweaty one, guys.